Right, so looking at gold, we've had a nice big push up. Put in that nice wick on the previous candle, so a quick scalp to the downside. So yeah, nothing wrong with this trade. It's alright, that one. So, big push down, we've had a retracement into that pivot point there. We've seen a rejection off the previous 5-minute candle off that pivot point, and yeah, playing into the idea that we're making a lower high and we're going to push back down. Trade worked nicely, got out pretty quick, but it was alright, nothing wrong with that. Just another little scalp. So it did start getting a little bit interesting now because it looks like it's making a bit of a bull flag on the 5-minute chart. It's not flushing to the downside like you would sort of expect it to do if it was just making a lower high and then pushing down to make new lows. It's just sort of, bull flagging, but with such big long wicks on the previous candles, it just made me think that there was still some more downside retracement to come before if it was going to go up. And it just held the 14 EMA really well, so this just chopped forever around here. This just carried on chopping for quite a long time. It did eventually flush to the downside, but it just took forever. It was, just one of those things. But yeah, another alright trade there for us. So looking at the 1-hour chart, new 1-hour candles just opened, but when I actually looked back and reflected on this trade, I realised that I actually got into this trade inside the first minute of the new 1-hour candle opening. So yeah, that was an error, a mistake on my part, but its previous hourly candles hit a massive doji, and it started moving up, so I got into the trade, bought the top, whatever. Mistake. It was what it was. The thing that messed us up here is that obviously this was our first loss of the day, but we got stopped out kind of. It was like a full stop out. And obviously previous good trades that we'd taken were not full take profit trades. They were just sort of, we were scalping, we were, taking a bit here and there. So we'd, like the night before, I didn't record the trades that I took, but I took some good trades and put my other account up nicely. But then, after this loss on this account was down despite being previously up with the other trade. And then this here now, nice big wick on the previous 5-minute candles, pretty much exactly what we're looking for. Just looking for a continuation of that downwards movement. Despite the fact that it looks like there's very big candles here, the market was actually being very choppy today. You actually go down and look at the lower time frames, you'll see just how red candle, green candle, red candle, green candle it was. So even these big moves here, even with like smaller wicks and big candle bodies, the actual price action going on inside these 5-minute candles was really choppy. So yeah, the market didn't really flush properly at all, or pump properly at all. But yeah, this one was an alright trade. We got there in the end. It took a while, but we got there in the end. So beggars can't be choosers. Right, this one was a tough watch, just on account of how long it took. Market, yeah, choppy, yeah. It's kind of a two-way stop kind of day today. We did get stopped out of this, so we've come again back down to sort of equal lows, but not quite. The idea was we were just going to bounce up again. That was kind of my thinking. You know, we've come down into these lows, and you know, I thought it was going to start moving up. Obviously, it needed to chop around a while before it did, so yeah, got stopped out of this trade here, but we were able to... We took a couple of trades, yeah, that we didn't record, so I think off the back of the last trade that we took another winning trade, and then, yeah, we took this one, which knocked us back again. I think this one gave back all of our profits that we just took on the previous trade. Yeah, that sounds right. And then, yeah, finally the market did start to move up. It finally did start to move in the end. We broke the 14 EMA, and I got in on like quite a large pump up. I think I was looking at the 10-second chart doing that one, because there was actually some momentum to sort of, yeah, play into on the really smaller time frame. I think I was traded a little bit of a bull flag on the smaller time frame. There was a lot of trades as well during that move that I jumped out of quickly, that I could have just stayed in. I think I'm cutting my winning trades short a little bit too quickly. I think that's a big one at the moment. But at the same time, you know, you go for 10 points and you're struggling to even squeeze 10 points out of it, you know, for the market to even give me 10 points, if I'm sitting in a trade for a couple of minutes, you know, watching it pull back and mess around and not really knowing whether it's actually going to go or not, you do lose confidence in it pretty quickly. You know, if you sit and watch it almost stop you out and then it starts to push again, it's very difficult not to get out just above break even, you know, especially if it goes to break even and it dips down a little bit again. It's like, oh god, you just want to get out of it. Yeah, so I take a lot of confidence in what I'm doing, and you know, I think I've got the right idea of it. You know, I think I'm doing okay, but obviously a lot of improving. But you know, it is what it is.